What up, though? This is your boy Beezy430. I know it's long time coming. It's been a minute. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded some videos. Sorry, guys, but you know what? I'm still getting subscribers though, which is crazy, which is great. Glad you guys are still sticking with me. Glad you guys are still enjoying the content. Still commenting on my old videos and previous videos I've uploaded this year so far. So I got this idea. Who did I get this from? I should have jotted down where I got this from. But when I did my my personal top 25 Detroit albums, someone suggested that I should do like East Coast and West Coast and like down south. So I'm gonna start off. This is the part 1 of a part 5 series, of course. The West Coast. These are my personal top 25 favorite West Coast albums from the West Coast, from the LA area, whether it's Phoenix, Oakland, Seattle. I mean, any rappers that's from that area. I'm listing my top 25, of course, starting, this is part 1, so this is going to be 25 to 21, my favorite, personal favorite. This is personal. These ain't based off albums that had impacts and all that other stuff. This is a strictly Beezy430 taste. These are my top 25 favorite hip-hop albums hailed from the West Coast, Los Angeles, and so on and so forth. So, with that being said, let's get started with 25. At number 25, this is probably one of the, I guess, recent albums, newer albums. And I have Schoolboy Q with Blank Face at 25. This album, even right now, still gets heavy rotation from me, man. It's easily my favorite album out of Schoolboy Q's discography. Blank Face is just so West Coast, so experimental, so different from any West Coast album that's came out, in that year. And was it 2015, 2016, 2015? It came 2015, I believe it came out. I think it was like maybe my top 3 favorite albums of that year. But yeah, new album. It's fairly new. Still new. I mean, people would think it's old because he hasn't released the album in a minute, but it's a new album in the hip hop grand scheme of things. But yes, 25. I have Schoolboy Q at Blank Face. Blank Face. I'm over here mispronouncing the damn shit. Blank Face. Schoolboy Q, number 25. At number 24, right? Yeah, number 24. I have Too Short, Short Dogs in the House. Of course, we know Too Short is like one of the legends in the game. Got so many damn albums, man. Too Short probably have at least maybe 18, 19 official albums in the game. Probably more than that. Dude's been in the game since like early 80s and just still been that old Oakland West Coast dude. Been working with a lot of people from the East Coast. Work with Eric Sermon, work with Jay-Z, work with Biggie. Work with Lil Jon. I mean, down south. I mean, Too Short has been around in this game for a long time. So, you talk about West Coast hip hop, you have to mention Too Short. So, I think Short Dogs Now is probably one of my, it's tied with a few other Too Short albums that if I was to rank his discography. But Short Dogs Now is definitely one of my favorite Too Short albums. So, I had to put that in there as my West Coast album. So, there you go. 24, Too Short, Short Dogs Now. At number 23, I have E40 in a Major Way. This, in my opinion, is still E40's best solo album. Came out like in 95, 94, 95-ish. Definitely had Sprinkle Me on there. Had The Click on there with his sister Sugar T, and you had Be Legit, D-Shock, all them on there, and that kind of like really put The Click, his crew, The Click, on the map as well too, man. Like when it was with Jive Records in his imprint label as well. But yeah, E40, man, one of the like the many people don't talk about E40 as far as like him doing it independently, like trying to staring out the game and doing it really independently in the West Coast, man. Like I didn't even know that really until they did like an unsung on him on TV1, and I didn't know that he has a big influence in the independent game or whatever, because I just always knew he was a part of Jive Records. So I didn't know he kind of steered how the way he grind into the rap game. I didn't even know that, man. But yeah, man, E40 in a Major Way. my personal favorite E40 album. I think it's really dope. You know, some of this is nostalgic. I mean, I know a lot of these albums some of y'all might not be familiar with. I mean, this is from back in my day when I was growing up. But yes, man, got a E40. The originality, man. That's one thing I like. Even though I love him or hate him, E40 was an original cat to the fullest, man. I appreciate that about E40, man. I think I appreciate him now, really, back then, more so than I did back in the 90s. So, yeah, E40 in a major way, number 23. And number 22, have Xzibit at the Speed of Life. This was Xzibit's debut album. Yeah, it was his debut album. Slept on. I think the people don't talk about Xzibit earlier work. You know, his first like 2 or 3 albums, people kind of sleep on Xzibit, man. Xzibit made some dope stuff. He was running with the Alcoholics crew. If y'all don't know about the Alcoholics, look them up. They was dope. They had a nice little run in the 90s as well, mid to late 90s. But yeah, Xzibit, Speed of Life, you know, if you haven't checked it out, if this is your first time hearing about it, I know you heard about Xzibit. He's more than just Pimp My Ride. Xzibit was putting some heavy stuff, some heavy West Coast stuff down back in the days, man. So make sure y'all check it out. Xzibit at the Speed of Life. Came out in 96. So 96 was a good year for hip hop. But yeah, check that out. Xzibit, Speed of Life at 22. Yeah, 22. And at 21, I have Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001. Man, like, this dude went like freaking, you know, 8-9 years from dropping the album. You know, last time he dropped the Chronic, it was on Death Row. We already knew the situation with Dr. Dre was going through from the time the Chronic came out to Chronic 2001. He was originally supposed to call it Chronic 2000, but Death Row had used it, so of course it was going to be some lost stuff going on, all that, you know, some lost stuff that was happening that he couldn't call it 2000, so he called it 2001. And it came out like it, because it came out in late 99, so he was calling it 2000 just into the new year, but that title was already taken for legal purposes. So, but yeah, Chronic 2001, me personally, reason why this is so, like, I guess low, I know most people probably have it higher, but I'm gonna be honest, it was like 21 tracks. The first like 11, 12, freaking phenomenal. After like track 12 or 13, if I remember correctly, no one really talks about the second half of this album at all. At all. Like, all his big hits was from the first part of the first half of the album. All the best songs was on the first half of the album. Everything about Chronic 2001, the first half, was freaking phenomenal. I think it's so phenomenal that people even forget about the second half of this album. That's how dope the first half is. He could have just left this bad boy at like 11 tracks and it would have been straight. But yeah, Chronic 2001, I mean, you know, still DRE. I mean, he still has some classic West. I mean, you still go back to that album today. You know what I'm saying? Some people even argue and say it's even better than the Chronic. But hey, I personally picked the original Chronic, but you know, I can't really argue when people say that one because Chronic 2001 was so dope, man. That shit was dope as hell. So 21, Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001. This concludes. Make sure y'all stay tuned for part 2. Of course, I'm going to be doing 20 through, what's that, 15 through 16? 20 through 16, my next 5 albums of West Coast. So be sure y'all check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, comment, hit me up on Twitter, socials, all that other good stuff, man. And it's your boy Beezy430. I'll check y'all out next time. Peace.